Well, hi everyone, and thank you for joining us today with our webinar together with William, who built the Analytics Hub. I'm Anouk, I'm a product owner at UbiOps, and well, I'm joined by William. So William, care to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody, thanks for being here. My name is William, and as Anouk already mentioned, I built the Analytics Hub. I did that cooperating with UbiOps. I found UbiOps, and we're here to present you the Analytics Hub and what can be done and how we cooperate into building it.
Exactly. So yeah, let's just dive in, and maybe let's just start with what the Analytics Hub actually is and why did you start building it?
Yeah, so before starting the Analytics Hub, I studied at a technical university. And I experienced firsthand that when I made my models to make like a prediction or anything done in coding languages, I had a problem getting these analysis to the end users, to the people. So they gave me a question, can you calculate me this or that, or some automation question. I built that in coding languages like MATLAB or Python or R. But then in the end, these analysis stayed with me, and I couldn't provide an infrastructure or provide the analysis to somebody else because they simply did not understand how to use such programming languages. And I built the Analytics Hub as a platform to bring these coding languages to end users, and they can log in or they can use the demos online, and they have this interactive platform where they don't see the code, but then actually can run the analysis with the code in the backend. And therefore I can enable then the end users to use the code. Furthermore, I also had problems with version control. Like I had a version of MATLAB, my other students or peers had a different version, and it was always a trouble of finding out what version was required or necessary, and that was just always a hassle. And with the Analytics Hub, I want to provide a stable platform so I can enable end users without the experience of code to actually use code.
Yeah, that's really cool. So it also just simplifies it a lot. I mean, indeed, especially what you said with like the versions and everything and it working on your laptop, but not on the laptop of a colleague, for instance. I think anyone who works with code knows that issue, and it's really annoying. And especially, of course, when your end user is not someone who's familiar with code, you can't leave it up to them to fix that issue. So I guess that's a really big value you provide them with. What would you say is the biggest value that the Analytics Hub provides for its customers?
I would say that it's an automation. They can actually, the process is fully automated, so they only have to upload the code or at least the information which they want to have translated, and they do not have to think of running the code itself, or actually it requires a lot of time to run the analysis or to set up the analysis, look back into the code, and now they can just upload it, press a button, and it runs automatically. So I actually have an example of a colleague, friend of mine, who is working hours a week just merging Excel files, maybe 7 or 8 Excel files every week, again with new exports. And in the Analytics Hub, we can actually upload these files individually, and with a press of the button, he does not have to use the vertical lookup, age lookup, doesn't mess up which Excel file was actually used previously. It could just, with a press of the button, get the output.
Yeah, that of course speeds up the process tremendously, and it also makes it repeatable. So of course you can trace them back, your steps, which is nice if it, for instance, needs to be audited later on or so, or if you need to show that the data was meddled with, that you can exactly trace the steps back.
Yeah, so in the end, you can really focus on making decisions and decision making based on numbers instead of working on just merging Excel files.
Exactly. Can you maybe show us how it works?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to talk you through some examples. And for all the listeners, if you go to the Analytics Hub and there's a demo page, if you press the demo page, you can actually run these some examples yourself. And I'm going to do one, and we're going to see on time if we can maybe do a second one. But this is just to give an idea, a very easy idea of how it works. So you all have a picture on your computer, like a JPEG or a PNG file. And this deployment here just converts a color picture to black and white. So if you go to the Analytics Hub, you press on a deployment, you get into this like uploader for files. You can open the file browser, and I already prepared some samples. You can upload pictures, just like you would normally do in any website. You choose for upload, you can see it is uploaded in the backend. And with a press on this button, it actually shoots the data to UbiOps, where the Python, in this case, Python script is ready to run. Then it transforms these pictures into black and white. This deployment is specifically made to transform color pictures to black and white, just as an example. So with the press of the button, you can actually see it's working now. It's making a request to UbiOps. We have to wait a little because it has to start up the code. And as you might see, a download has appeared. It downloaded a zip file with here in the input folder, the 2 pictures I've uploaded in black and white, in color. And then the output, the same pictures come back in black and white. However, this translation was done in Python itself, in Python code. So another example is for merging 2 Excel files with what I mentioned earlier. I have 2 files with some employee names, when they were hired, and another file with their salary. And if I want to merge the 2 files, I'm going to show you later, I can upload the employee data in the first one, upload the employee data in the second file uploader. I press on upload files. I see here my files have been uploaded. And again, pressing on the button, it actually shoots it to UbiOps. There the Python code is ready to extract the Excel files, do the transformations, or actually join the 2 tables, and then provide me the output again. So a second download has came back to us. Here we see the employee data. We can see the name, we can see the group, and we see when they were hired. And in the other file, we have the same employees with the salary. And now the output file is just a merge of the 2, where you can see the employee data, or the first file and the second file added here. And it was all done with a press of the button without actually, in this case, doing a vertical lookup or horizontal lookup or anything, at least opening the Excel files and then, yeah, maybe making a mess of it.
And what if like a user, of course, might need different types of analysis? I mean, these are your 2 demos. What does a person need to do if they want a certain type of analysis that you can make for them behind the interface of the Analytics Hub?
Yeah, yes.
Out to you?
That's a good question. So that's part of my job. My job is actually to go to clients, to talk with people about what automation process is required, and then making these deployments in UbiOps, and then building the front end so you can actually have your own login page with your own analysis. That's one part, but maybe you already have some analysis. You maybe have a team of people working on these analysis, and then I could provide for you a front end to actually bring these analysis to your end users. If they're maybe your clients or also your employees, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, cool. Okay, and you also mentioned that you used UbiOps in the backend of this.
Yeah.
What did UbiOps actually solve for you in the process of creating the Analytics Hub?
Yeah, so I've been thinking of building the Analytics Hub for years now. Already, what I told in my student years, I came across this problem, and I never found a good solution for a stable backend. And I was actually on the point of building it myself. I have a Raspberry Pi here at home. I wanted to open up a port, make my own hub here, and then linking it to a front end. But then again, I had issues with like security, stability, and everything that comes around with that. And I found UbiOps, which is just specialized in providing this stable platform, this stable backend, which is very secure, great support. And it just solved the problem of deploying my code and then running the code whenever I would like. And I also looked at other platforms, obviously, like Google Cloud or Amazon or whatever is there on the market. But diving into that, I found it too complex. It had so much to offer that I just did not know where to look at. And then I found UbiOps, and it immediately captured my interest because it did exactly what I was thinking to do.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. And I mean, you also mentioned already a few of the things that were important for you in choosing a tool and finding the solution for your own problem so that you wouldn't have to go through the hassle of doing it yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, can you mention maybe some of the things that a tool like UbiOps now became for you in the end needs to comply with for you? Were there any specific requirements you had in mind, for instance, or nice to haves?
Well, it definitely had to be easy to deploy code. And yeah, with some study, obviously, and some hours put in, I was able to build my first codes, deploy my first codes. And I was just very amazed by how easy it was. And that makes me, yeah, hesitant, or what I wanted to know more about it. I wanted to learn more and test more. Furthermore, I had questions of the speed, but as you guys already saw, the speed is tremendous. And even though I have my front end built on top of the UbiOps platform, it's still really fast. So these were definitely two requirements. And the third one was secure. It had to be secure. And fourth one, it had to be consistent. So every time I wanted it, it needed to be there, must not break. And these are for my 4 factors. And then the fifth one also was a great support in the backend. So if I had any questions, I could chat to anybody in the Slack of UbiOps, and there was always somebody ready to help me out with my problem and provide feedback and help me out. And I had some trouble of making some requests of my front end to the back end, and me not being a programmer of heart. But having this vision, I really needed some help of the specialists of UbiOps to get it done. And eventually it worked. So I'm very happy. I'm very satisfied.
Working very smoothly right now. And it actually was also very nice for us that you reached out to us so much, and that whenever you encountered an obstacle or something, that you would share it with us, because it also allowed us to learn what areas of our product we need to improve and what we might need to better cater for or something. So it's really nice that you had so much contact with us, because I hope, of course, it helped you in setting up everything as fast as possible, but it also really helped us. So that was really nice. And actually, that's also interesting, because we see sometimes that some people struggle with where they should put UbiOps in their architecture, for instance, or if it will fit their use case, yes or no. And sometimes they hesitate to reach out to us. So maybe as a piece of advice to them from you, in what situations do you think UbiOps fits well?
If you want to deploy your code and have your code ready whenever you want, UbiOps is the place to go. It's very short and brief.
Yeah, I mean, it's short and it's understandable. I mean, that's the best, right? If it's a simple piece of advice that I think people can easily follow, so that's good. But I can imagine you, of course, also had some concerns before you started working with UbiOps. I mean, you had to go through the process of trying the tool out to figure out that this was indeed where it fitted. What were some of the concerns you had? I mean, you mentioned speed as one. Were there any others?
Yeah, that it would be too difficult for me. And I actually tried some of the other cloud providers, like the big ones. And I already felt I had to invest a lot of hours getting it up and running for the things I would like to do. And eventually, after spending hours, I still didn't know where I had to be to run my code. And with UbiOps, I knew it within a couple of hours. And that with asking the questions, because I also, I mean, the support of these big companies is so big. They have so many questions. I felt like a number. And here with you guys, everybody's just ready to help out. Obviously, within the last couple of months, we're in contact. I already met a lot of people, and just everybody's ready to help out, and they're giving me the opportunity to grow, help you guys out. I'm just really happy we can cooperate and building together. We both need to build together to become more to share our knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, what you're trying to do with the Analytics Hub also just aligns really well with the vision that we have for the company. We want to make analytics more accessible, and you're doing exactly that as well. Like, we're just one part in the puzzle, and you've put like the pieces together. So that's really nice to see that coming together. And yeah, we love to collaborate on that. But But of course, there's also a future, and there are more things to come to the Analytics Hub.
Yeah.
So how do you see its development in the coming year? Like, what can people expect from the Analytics Hub?
My vision for the Analytics Hub is that it will gain community. For now, I am the one controlling the code. I am making the Analytics Hub. I have to grant access manually. However, I want to incorporate, or I want to build a big infrastructure. So actually, people like me, data analysts, companies, and whoever is interested can use the Analytics Hub to provide a stable platform for their end users. So yeah, eventually I'm not the only one who is enabled on the Analytics Hub, but the whole community can provide insights for their companies or end users.
Yeah, that would be really cool if it starts growing from itself, and that the community will also contribute to it, and that it's no longer just you making all the analytics.
Yeah, because what I've experienced is that a lot of people really want to use data analytics and data analysis, but if you show them the code, if you talk about it, they get anxious. They do not understand. But in this specific front end, you can really bring it to what they already know. And I was already thinking, like, 90% of the world works in Excel. Why does it work so well? Because it's really easy, it's understandable. So why build another very complex infrastructure? Why build some very sophisticated tools if you can keep the people in Excel, what they already know? And then the next step is, well, enhancing them with the analysis or analytics capabilities of code without them actually using code. And that's why also now low-code applications are also very popular, because you can actually draw the power of analytics in a very easy and interactive way.
Yeah, I mean, everyone can drag and drop and click buttons, but installing the right software or the right programming languages, setting up the environment for that, getting all the tools for that is a lot more trouble to go through than just pressing a button and dragging and dropping some blocks and connecting them.
Yeah,
So,
indeed.
We can wrap it up and continue to the live Q&A and see if anyone else who's watching has any questions for you. So thank you very much for your time, and we'll continue to that.